In today's video, I'm going to bring you through a $30 million per year e-commerce brand. This brand is doing very, very good when it comes to marketing and pages, landing pages, offers. I'm going to break down the entire funnel as usual, but I'm going to actually go a bit deeper in this video. I have some cool new diagrams that I've created myself today. But before we get into the video, if you are a new viewer, my name is Brando. I've been able to work with over 100 plus e-commerce brands as growth partners. And so this is just one of our own clients, just so you understand the type of caliber of clients that we're typically used to working with. That's doing $13-14 million a year. We typically work with 7- and 8-figure clients. Now that we got the proof out of the way, and you know that I'm qualified to speak about this topic, let's actually dive deeper into the brand. The brand that I want to talk about is called Try Well Knee. Okay, they are selling essentially products that help. It's knee patches. They also have other products as well, but that are solving, of course, the pain relief problem when people have like arthritis or knee pain, etc. Now, before we dive deeper, I want to show you, just to set the expectation, exactly what we're going to talk about. As you can see, I have a bunch of diagrams and new stuff to show you, so make sure to stick until the end. So this is the plan of this video. First of all, I'm going to bring you through the $30 million per year sales process. It's going to take me 1 minute from A to Z. Okay, this is going to give you context for the rest of the strategies and things that I'm going to discuss in this video. Second of all, the full UGC content production process. UGC process, how do they actually produce content? How they find new winners every month? How, you know, those brands that scale to millions of dollars, them and any other brand, they actually find new winning ads every single month. What does their process look like? I dove deeper into that, and I have a diagram to show you. Really, really important. Number 4, genius landing page strategy that not many people are leveraging in the way that they're doing it. Super special. Stick into this part, definitely. And then their customer acquisition process from A to Z. I have a super cool diagram where you see it, and you see a 30,000 square foot view from the top of how exactly they're acquiring customers and why it's working. It will make sense. And then last but not least, I have a really, really cool free gift, if I have to be honest. So stay tuned until the end. I share, if you don't stick until the end, you definitely don't know where to find it. So make sure to stick until the end. Really, really important. Let me fulfill on promise number 1. Okay. So first of all, let's go through the sales process very quickly. Let's click on an ad. Let's see where it goes through. And it's going to go to an advertorial. As you see over here, they have many advertorials. Many. Okay. They actually have around 18 different types of advertorials, which gives you an idea of how much they're doing. Okay. People ask me, okay, but do I need to do an advertorial? I mean, they're doing 18 and they're doing 30 million. So 1 + 1 is 2. You do the math. So this is what they're doing. So advertorial, cool. Very, a lot of graphical representations, visuals, impact visuals. And then, of course, they bring you through the checkout, or I guess another landing page. This, I guess, is the product page. It's sort of like an informational long form listicle, okay? And then get 70%. Okay, so it's not necessarily, I don't think this is Shopify. Maybe they have a Shopify store for sure, but they're processing maybe through Funnelish or something else. And so they have a custom checkout, which has a buy 1, buy 2, and buy 4 offer. And so their AOV is going to be, it's going to go up and up. I also saw on another step that they're also doing another offer. They're doing, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4. But for some reason, they're, of course, split testing, right? Super important offers. Okay, so this is their process. Looks very, very clean. I do have to be honest, these landing pages look quite detailed. And this top of the funnel looks quite nice. But they're mostly probably also focusing on visuals, impact visuals, so people understand and can feel that pain of going through the landing page. And then, of course, features and benefits and statistics, right? They have all the elements. I'm not going to go through all of this right now. You can just take a look at the page, take a look at their funnel, and kind of do what I'm doing and slowly go through it. They're adding urgency, stock levels are low, and stuff like that. Really, really, basic marketing principles that I also go over in my other videos. So this is the funnel. Let's go over the rest. What else do we need to talk about? Let's go over the full UGC content production process. This is really, really important. You see all of these ads that they're producing? What is their process? How are they producing all of these ads? If you take a look at status and active ads, you can clearly see that they are running 1,153 active ads, okay? And I think 400 or 500 ads of these are from Meta. So they're spending multiple 7 figures a month on advertising, right? And generating $30 million a year profitably. This is not a subscription product, right? So you can't really break even on the front end. You have to profit from the front end. So if you are a business owner and an e-commerce brand that wants to profit on the front end, continue watching this video. Okay, so let's go over the UGC process very, very quickly. Okay, so once again, please stick until the end because the fun stuff is right over here, right? Starting from here, there's the fun stuff, but this is the foundational stuff that we cannot miss. So let me start from the top so that we can get going and Yes. Cool. So first of all, what is the process that they're going through, and honestly that we also go through within our agency whenever we work with clients? This is the foundational step. So first of all, you need to identify your customer, your avatar customer. Once we do that, we need to identify marketing angles. We need to find creators. We need to onboard creators, and then there's a post-production process, which basically involves grouping B-rolls, scaling with variations, and scaling with scripts and stuff like that. Okay, I'm gonna go through all of this process. It will take me like 3 minutes. I'm gonna skim through it very, very fast because also this is kind of like basic, but I want to go through it because it's foundational for the really cool things that I'm going to talk about later in the video. Okay, so let's identify the avatar customers. So what I noticed that they're doing is that they're actually really identifying these avatar customers. If we go over here and we go and look at personas, you see how many people they're targeting. They're targeting the wellness seeker, the active adult persona, active lifestyle seeker, the health optimizer. Essentially, they are targeting different types of persona. And so this is really foundational because doing this type of research will allow you to break down your marketing angles and your creatives on a deeper level, which is why I want to bring this thing up now, because it's crucial as a foundation for the things that I'm going to talk about later, as I said before. So these are it's really, really important to break this down. Next is identifying marketing angles. Okay, but we need to do these two things before, of course, finding creators and onboarding creators and actually getting the content, because if we don't do these things, we are not able to identify who our avatar customer is and who we want to target for the creator. What is the pain point? What is the hook? What is the angle, etc. So these are some angles that they are scaling. They're doing a very good job at scaling horizontally. Their pain relief marketing angle is the one, of course, that is the winner and where they're putting most 80 or 90% of the resources, and the rest is also going in other angles like injury prevention, as I said before, recovery support, arthritis relief, performance boost, all-day comfort, durability, mobility aid, hiking essentials, right, and workplace comfort, right? So all of these are essentially angles that will allow them to add multiple streams of income, buckets of cash flows, right, you can put it, and not just rely on just one angle. Of course, one of these angles is going to be the winner, and that is the pain relief angle. I'm going to bring you exactly through their funnel and what they're doing and how they're taking advantage of this angle. Very, very quick note before proceeding with this video, which I hope is of value to you. I wanted just to mention that you may or may not know that we own Brandlex Media, an e-commerce growth agency. We essentially partner with brands and we bring them from 7 to 8 figures, or from 8 figures to multiple 8 figures, of course. And so if you are stuck and you feel like you're reaching a ceiling because of time, resources, knowledge, a creative foundation, whatever that reason is, please feel free to book a call. If you're a brand doing at least $100,000 a month, you'll qualify for the call. We can have a call. We can have just a normal conversation and understand what's actually stopping you. What are the bottlenecks? What are the walls that you're facing that is stopping you to getting that to that 500K a month, million a month, 2 million a month, whatever that number is. Okay. So book a call, we'll have just a call, and then we'll explore the opportunity of potentially partnering up. But most importantly, it's going to be a valuable call because we're going to share an audit and go through a lot of different things together, specifically about your brand, okay? I hope this is going to be valuable to you, and nothing, I'll leave you to this video and enjoy. But let's start and go on with our funnel here. So we identify the customer, marketing angle. How do you identify the customer? By the way, you can actually go and read Amazon reviews. You can go and analyze your own reviews if you already have them to dissect exactly who your avatar customer is. Marketing angle, we talked about it. How do we find creators? I'm going to be super brief, but there's a whole process which is not new that I speak about in also my other videos. But you can hire a VA for $3 an hour. You can have them go on Twitter, Facebook groups, UGC platforms. You can have them buy lists. You can then ask them to group everything into with some columns. As you can see here, it says skin, hair type, body type, what they're mostly doing, pets, kids. We also have extra columns because we have, of course, clients in multiple verticals, but it should look something like this, just to give you a clear example. Price, previous work, best email, location, age, gender, ethnicity, skin type, hair type, all these things. And then we also, of course, add location just so we have a lot of different lists. Now, we have like 600, 700 plus. You don't need to have that many. You just need to find your own, of course. And we have this amount, of course, as I said before, because we have multiple clients. So this process, you don't need to do it. Hire somebody else because we need to fill up the pipeline every single week or every single month at least. You contact them once you group them, and then you establish collaboration terms. You ship the product and you receive the video after you train them, of course. Onboarding the creator, very quickly, I'm almost done, and then we're going to get to the juicy things. Onboarding the creators, super simple. You share the storyboard, you share examples of what you want them to do, and this is what we do, and I know for a fact that that's what they do because we have access. We work with 7 and 8 figure companies, not to flex, but we have access to data and systems and processes, SOPs. So this is the standard and what I recommend for you to do to move the needle fast. Share the storyboard. This is typically how we share the storyboard, I like to show, not tell. So let me just go over this diagram. It's basically a storyboard. I'm not sure how else to explain it, but the storyboard has essentially sections. So the hook, problem, pain, agitating the pain, failed solution, what they tried in the past, right? Solution, features, benefits, call to action. And so we don't really give them a script most of the times, unless we want to do like a voiceover for them. We want them to do the voiceover, but we give them like snippets of text so that they understand what we want. This is, you can stop through the video. This is like for a smoking product or whatever. And then we of course send them multiple. This is not the only storyboard that we have. There's also a shorter version. Once again, you can stop through this and read it. Now, this is what we do. We send it to them. We also prepare a brief, right? The brief looks something like this. We give them a content brief. We give them, shooting specifications. Stop through the video, go through this. They're super important. We give them the storyboards that we want, the shot list, what we want from them, including the storyboards, and then the entire script if we're doing voiceovers. So this is a script that you can find in our community. You can join if you want. If you don't, it's up to you. Now, next thing is that you do B-roll inspos. This is really, really important because part of the strategy that they're using over here is that they're actually going through a lot of B-rolls. The majority of their content is B-roll. So B-roll is essentially footage, pieces of content or pieces of footage that the creators shoot that is them using the product, drinking it, consuming it, opening it, unboxing it, before, after, the transformation. So visual representation that allow us to identify what the product is, how it works, what problems it solves, etc. That is B-rolls. What do? Is that, as you can see from this diagram, we share different types of B-rolls with like some short explanations. This is exactly what we do, just so you can kind of copy it. So for this client, we did a 32-page document over here, as you can see, where we provide graphical representation, screenshots of exactly what we want them to do, and then a short description of the B-roll, so they know exactly what they need to do. So you're sleeping peacefully with it, in this case, the teddy bear, whatever, or do the same, but with both sloth and koala, the two products in the same frame, place them next to each other. You're literally telling them what to do in like 1 or 2 sentences and showing them, this is exactly what I need you to shoot. You being lonely on the bed, being depressed or unhappy, whatever. And so they have a perfect representation of what they need to do. You don't waste any time, okay? Hopefully this makes sense. The end process is onboard creators, in-depth training, provide scripts, give the storyboards, and then you receive the final video. Post-production, this is where it gets interesting and how they're able to do all of these hundreds and thousands of videos and putting them all together, right, with editors and creative strategists, is that they're actually doing this approach where they're contacting creators. They're not only asking for a raw UGC video, but they're also asking only asking for B-rolls. B-rolls are the pieces of footage that I talked about before. Typically, for the same exact price for one video, you can get 15, 20, 25 B-roll shots. And the reason why they charge the same, or if they charge more, it's like maybe $50 more, $100 more. It's because it takes them the same amount of time and it's raw content, so that they don't need to edit anything, add subtitles, because you want raw content. You then get all this content, you give it to your editors, you give the editors scripts that they can use as voiceovers, right? And then they combine and create B-roll variations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100. A bunch of different variations, and of course, these B-roll shots, essentially, they combine it with the script so that the script makes sense with the images and the video representation, and the video makes sense with the script, right? Or else nothing makes sense. And then what happens over here is that they're able to create endless amount of ads, iterations with different hooks and a bunch of different frameworks that is allowing them to basically have 1,000 active ads. And, in the last 3 days, including 990 new ads. So can you imagine the amount of ads that they're reproducing? Like 900 new ads. I'm not sure if these are like super accurate numbers, but I can assure you that if you have 1,000 active ads, you're definitely doing a lot of work, okay? So let's move forward into what else do we need to talk about? How they find new winners every single month. This is really going to be a cool process because it's detrimental. It's one of the most important things. So scaling with creative concepts. Okay, the way that you find winners, once you have an angle that you know works, in this case, it's for them, it's the pain relief angle. The best thing that will allow you to find new winning ads is to scale with different, not only different hooks and different scripts, but also just different concepts, different creative concepts. I'm going to talk about more about finding winning creative ads, that the one that essentially print money for like a year long, more in the bottom. So stick until the bottom because I'm going to speak about some important things as well towards the bottom of the video, or the end of the video, sorry. And so this is what they're doing. For example, they're testing features and benefits. Let me just zoom in a little bit. features and benefits. They're doing B-rolls plus, and by the way, like a creative concept are these things like a features benefit ad, B-roll plus AI voiceover, going over an educational story, the funny AI song. I'm going to show you some examples here. Direct offer image ad, pain-driven B-roll with dramatic song. These are all different types of creative concepts that is allowing them to further scale the marketing angle. Many people just do 1 or 2 creative concepts within one marketing angle, and that's it, and they scale to 100K, 300K, whatever. You have to do this step horizontally and test as many creative concepts as possible. This guy did a funny AI song. Let me show you this ad in just a second, but let me show you this first. The B-roll plus AI voiceover educational, right? Let me show you exactly what they're doing so you can see it with your own eyes. I know that I need to move myself. Let's take a look.
Around 40% of people over 55 struggles with joint pain, but a breakthrough patch is changing everything we thought we knew about aging knees. Here's what happens when you use Well Knee Pain Relief patches. Day 1, you feel the difference. Week 1, your family notices the change.
So they're going through a transformational, I went through this concept in my last video. They're going through the transformation. If you're able to show them, not tell, show them how the transformation, if they use the product, looks like before using this, after using this, it's a great ad. So this is just one of the concepts that they're testing, as you can see over here. Let's take a look at this funny AI song.
All the people complaining about the price of these, they are 70% off with fast shipping right now. Really recommend Well Knee to anyone dealing.
So we've actually tried this concept. It worked quite well we tried it for like 4 or 5 clients in the last like 6 months, and sometimes it does really well. So why not try it yourself? These are opportunities for you to get in and do something that not a lot of other companies and direct competitors are doing. And if it's working for them, it's probably going to work for you if you do it well enough, right? And so once again, they're scaling horizontally. Direct offers, there's nothing to show you here. This is literally an image with a direct offer, 70% off spring sale. And then they have like pain-driven B-roll with dramatic songs. Let me quickly show you these last 2 before we move on, I promise. But this is really, really important. Let me show you. Dramatic song. And as you can notice, they're not doing a script at voiceover, but they're writing the script over here that is really, really clear and easy to read. So there's nothing to pay attention other than the visuals, so that they can quickly read the script that is with subtitles. Sorry. So you get the music. There's a lot of pain in this ad, a lot of pain, and then of course the solution towards the end, and then people are happy, blah 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 blah. You get the point. But there's a lot of pain here. This is a type of creative concept, just pain-driven creative concept. And so why not test that? And then there's a split screen that they're doing with a satisfying thing over here that's working very, very well. I really recommend for you to test this split screen. Let me show you.
Knee neuropathy is now optional. The Well Knee brace is designed to help with
I'm going to take the audio off, but here there's like a super satisfying video where people like to watch it, so it increases retention, and it's telling Facebook that it's people are interested or whatever. And at the bottom, you've seen this a million times, there's like the video game, right? Something that increases retention rate. And then at the bottom, like there's an offer, and then of course the B-rolls with the voiceover. This is literally an ad, right? A normal ad with the voiceover. The only thing that they added is just a split screen with something satisfying to watch. Why not test it? If they're doing it, maybe it works. And so there's other things as well, like success story. I don't have the video here, but there's like a success story. Let me quickly see if I can find it over here. They're basically going over a story of somebody, and they go through the journey of how, let me see it.
Meet Luigi.
Yeah.
You
see, meet Luigi. After decades of knee pain,
decades of hiking, his knees were shot. Everyone told him to hang up his boots.
So you get the same concept in terms of it's an AI voiceover with B-rolls and Luigi, but it's like personalized story about Luigi, so people can resonate, higher level of resonation. So once again, I don't want to drag this too much, but this is really, really important and will allow you to scale a lot more aggressively, and find winning ads. So this is the strategy that they're using to find winning ads. And then of course, they're going crazy. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm going to show you in just a second, but they're really going crazy with testing different hooks. Once you have different creative concepts, and it says 3 years because this is all I can fit, but they have dozens and dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of creative concepts that they're testing. And then within each creative concept, they're scaling horizontally, just like the creative concepts, they're scaling horizontally with hooks. So in 14 days, my knee pain went from a 9 to a 2. In 2025, I'm exposing bad knee braces. I canceled my knee surgery and feel amazing. Like, all of these are super important hooks. And just to remind you, if you don't have a good hook the first 5 to 7 seconds, nobody's going to watch the rest of your ad. So even if you have a great script, nobody's going to watch the script or go over the script, and they won't convert if you don't have a good hook. So this is by far the most important thing that you can focus on in scaling and testing really, really aggressively. At the end of the day, why is this 8-figure company doing 8 figures? 30, 40, 50 million a year, just like other companies. They're just doing a lot more volume of creative testing, and they're being a lot more strategic and smart about how they're going through the concepts, okay? So this is it for this section. Now let's talk about, as I promised over here, the genius landing page strategy that they're using. Please stick until this and this, because first of all, this is a crazy cool gift, and then this is going to give you it's going to open your eyes, I think. Okay, so let's talk about their genius landing page strategies quite briefly so we can go over it. Now, let me zoom in. The landing page strategy that they're using is that, as you can see over here very, very, very clearly, they have dozens of landing pages. I can start opening all of these, but look, advertorial 1, advertorial 2, advertorial 3, 4, 5. This is a different one. This is the same one. 6. There's so many different advertorials, and in most cases, when we click on check availability, they redirected the same one, as you can see over here. But I also know that they're redirecting people to other landing pages as well. You see, this is another landing page, which also proved my point that they're testing and doing a lot of CRO. And then, of course, here they're showcasing, you see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Before it was 1, 2, 4. Now they also added a 3-pack. So it's probably, they're doing some CRO tests over there with offer split testing, which is something that you must do when you start scaling. You have to test different offers, because you might think that your offer is good and that it has good unit economics and a good Shopify score, but you never know until you test another offer, right? So what do I want to talk about? Let's talk about this. So they have ads. They redirect people to an advertorial, and then they redirect people to like a special offer, the one that I showed you just now, or like a landing page, right? And this is just the top of the fold. Of course, it's much longer. The thing that I love about advertorials is that it adds an extra layer and pool of retargeting. So you can go ahead and retarget all these people that read your article, and you can retarget them with advertorial 2, 3, 4, 5, 100, which is exactly what they're doing over here, which is why they have so many different types of advertorials. One of the reasons, at least. Right? And then you can go ahead and also redirect them to a product page directly, which is, I also saw this is what they're doing just by looking at their URLs. The other thing that is really, really important here, what did I want to talk about, is that it adds information. This is super important, because if you have a very good structured landing page, advertorial, your conversion rate is going to skyrocket because you're touching based on the right points. But the cool thing and the really smart thing that they're doing, which not many, like a lot of people are actually doing, is that they have they're testing, let me just read it. They're testing advertorials with a congruent sales process. What do I mean by congruent sales process? Meaning the advertorial, the product page, the checkout, the post-purchase upsells, and everything that they're doing, their entire funnel is dissected and personalized based on the angle that they're targeting, right? So if these ads are about knee pain, these advertorials that they're testing, and they're testing many, as you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is just the tip of the iceberg. They're testing different advertorials. Anything that they're testing is congruent to the knee pain angle. I sometimes see people talk about knee pain over here, and then the advertorial maybe talks about knee pain, of course, but this page talks about arthritis, and there's a disconnect, right? So you have to make sure that the sales process is congruent. And guess what? They do the same exact thing for other angles: arthritis, recovery, injury prevention, right, and stuff like that. So this is a genius way of marketing, not necessarily just the advertorial part, because everybody runs advertorial, but first of all, scaling horizontally with advertorials. So just like I showed you before, they have like a dozen advertorials at once, and making sure that the sales process is congruent so you increase conversion rate. At the end of the day, we're in the funnel business. The funnel needs to make sense. It needs to be congruent from ad to advertorial to landing page to end of sales process, okay? So hopefully this makes sense. Now, what do we need to talk about? Let's talk about the customer acquisition from A to Z, the cool diagram that I wanted to talk about before. I'm gonna have to zoom out here because this is a big fat diagram, okay? But long story short, this is overall how you should approach your marketing if you want to get to 8 figures. Okay, this is just coming from me, but it's really not, because it's coming from them. I'm just funnel hacking. This is what we do for our clients, by the way, but we do it because it works for them. So we're smart. So we don't like to reinvent the wheel. That's what I'm trying to say. So they have a product, and by the way, this process scales horizontally because they have more than one product, right? But let's just say they have one product. They test multiple angles, not just three. Once again, I can't fit the 50 angles that they're testing. So let's just say they have 3 angles, 1, 2, and 3. They test different creative concepts. Once again, not just 4. They test many, many more creative concepts. I just don't have the room here. Angle 1. They test multiple different creative concepts. They test different scripts, and they don't stop there. They test a lot of different hooks. So if you multiply this by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different angles, just imagine the level of impact that you can create in your business just by doing a lot more volume. At the end of the day, the main difference between businesses that do 6 and 7 figures is this is the 6-7 figure business. So they find a couple angles that work and they scale with some ads. They find the angle that works and they scale with some creative concepts. The 8-figure business, 9-figure business, 10-figure business does the same exact stuff, right? But a lot more volume, right? And this is the missing component. And guess what? After people go and, this is essentially what makes an ad, the angle, the creative concept, the script, the hook. They go to the advertorials that redirects them to a main offer. And guess what? This main offer, as you saw, they're testing multiple offers. This main offer, they're mostly showing one offer. I saw like 90% of the traffic is going to the offer that is presenting like the 4, where is it? They're presenting the 4 bundles. So 1, 2, 3. Actually, I'm wrong. They're doing 1, 5, 10 over here. I never even saw this. So I should actually correct this diagram and replace it with this. Actually, they're testing multiple different offers all at once. And then of course they're gonna have the flagship offer, which is the green one, of course, right? And so they're doing this horizontally. And so this brings me to a final point that I just want to discuss, which is this one over here. To get to 8 figures, and this is not a new diagram, I always speak about this, to get to over $1 million a month, you need to scale horizontally and do as much as possible with angles, testing multiple angles, creative concepts, scaling offers, just like them over here, right? Scaling markets, they're not really doing that too much. I think they're focusing on one market. Actually, I may be wrong because I did see over here in SimilarWeb that they have 24% of traffic in Germany, United States, United Kingdom, Australia. So I'm actually wrong. Correct me. Just corrected myself. And then they're scaling with products. They have multiple products, and then they're scaling with personas. The 25-year-old that has the recovery, not the recovery, wants to prevent the injury, and then the 45 to 60-year-old that has arthritis or whatever. You get the point. One other last thing that I want to talk about is that those winning ads that you launch and they pump profit, and they get you from like 5K a day to like 15K a day, and like from one day to another. The way that you find those ads is by combining all of these things and mass scaling this scaling process, testing angles, creative concepts with different scripts, with different hooks, and doing this as much as you can. If you are doing this correctly and not just randomly, you will find a lot more winners. You will find a lot more green instead of gray. The grays are the losers, and then maybe even if 5%, or let's just say even 1% of your ads are winners, not the winners that just do a couple, 2 extras at 10K per month, budget. I'm talking about the ads that can spend 300K in a month and bring in 700K. I'm talking about those type of ads. Those type of ads are maybe 1% or less, but guess what? If you test 50 ads, you're not going to get to that 1% again, right? So you test more ads. Scale. And this is why people honestly hire us. They don't have the capacity, the time, the resources, the SOP to actually do all of these things. So I'm not saying you have to hire us. I'm just saying the reality of the fact why people actually go to agencies or they build bigger in-house teams. To get to that next level, this is required. Okay, I hope this video was valuable. The last thing before we end the video is the free gift. This is really, 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 really important. What we use to actually document all of our journey, right? Document all of our ad copies. We have a UGC tracker, we have ad copy sheet, an ROI calculator, a competitor sheet, a daily report. This is all the sheets that we create for our clients to make sure that we track and document every single aspect of their business, which by the way, if you track everything and you have these systems in place where you track everything and document everything, your business is going to be a lot more valuable for when you want to sell it, okay? Not only you get access to more data and you keep track of what works and what doesn't, but it's going to be an asset that you can leverage as data to sell to increase your enterprise value whenever you want to sell your business. Imagine an investor, you share this on a presentation to an investor. You think they're going to like it or dislike this. This is going to be amazing for them to see. And automatically, it's going to allow them to, buy the business because they like what they see. We have creative concepts. We have 600 hooks. Speaking of hooks, which I spoke about over here a billion times, these hooks, how do we come up with them? Well, we personally come up with them by actually going through this mega ultra cool list that, we found, by the way, where there's like a bunch of things. You can get the the script, the framework of the hook and example, and there's 600 of them. Long story short, if you want the sheet, there's a link down below. Okay, it's free. You have nothing to lose. Go get it right now. And before I end the video, if you are a brand doing at least around plus or minus $100,000 a month or more, plus or minus, book a call. We can hop on a call. We can go through an audit. The most important thing for me to see is that there's an opportunity for us to do business, and if there is, it means that there's an opportunity to scale. We only work with 10 to 12 clients, and if you become one of them, you're going to be 1 in 10, right? So big deal for us. So we can do an audit. We can see if there's opportunities, and then of course, if we feel like there's a cool vibe check and we're having a good conversation, then we can explore the opportunity of working together, and going all in and getting you to 8 figures, whatever the number is. Okay, book a call. Hopefully see you on the other side. I hope this video was valuable. Please leave me the questions down below. I will personally answer them. Give me some feedback, and definitely see you in the next video. Bye.